Welcome to the virtual orientation for the Embrace Winter Run. So this event's been going on for quite a while and is part of the official Winterlude Festival, so we hope that you take this opportunity to do the event and then take part in other great events as part of Winterlude while you're here. So we have a lot to get through, let's get to it. We're going to break this orientation into 3 sections. It's very chronological, naturally. We'll go with everything that has to do with pre-race, then we'll talk about the run itself, and then talk about everything post-race. So those are kind of our 3 categories for this orientation. My number 1 piece of advice is, if you can, pick up your bib the day before the race. Everyone that races has a little bib pinned to their shirt or the outer layer of their outfit. If you're wearing multiple layers, we can always kind of move things around a little bit. But you have to pick up your bib either on race day or ideally the day before. We have 2 different days you can pick up on. But by picking it up the day before, it makes race day a lot simpler. It gives you a chance to ask all your questions and whatnot, meet some fellow competitors, meet our team. It's my number 1 recommendation. So if you're going to pick up your bib the day before, it's going to be at, I'll use my cursor here for a second here just to point. It's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. at Sports 4 at their College Square location off in Woodruff. The address is just down here. Sports 4 has a second location in the Glebe on Bank Street, but this time we're going to host this particular bib pickup at their College Square location. It's a big store, lots of room to mingle. You can grab anything you need last minute there, but lots of room to hang out. There's free parking and whatnot, so a great place to host it. As an added bonus, if you bring any gently used shoes that still have some life in them, you can donate them to Sports 4 and they'll find a new home with a local charity. And if you do that, you get a $15 gift card towards anything else in the store. So you can use it right away, save it for later, as you wish. But if you have any old shoes kicking around that you're no longer using, here's your chance to recycle them, give them a second life, and save a few bucks on your next purchase at Sports 4. And like I said earlier, the other big advantage is this is your chance to meet our race crew, ask your questions, see the maps in person. We'll kind of print out some 2-3 foot by 2 or 3 foot maps and whatnot. So it's a good chance for you to ask all your questions. That way you can go home after that, after 4 o'clock, and absorb all the information, plan out your race day, and you'll just be good to go. All you have to do is do the run itself. So if you can't pick up the day before and you're picking up on race day, here's kind of the order of operations, so to speak. So the bib pickup will be inside the War Museum at the Barney Danson Theater, the same place it's been for many, many years. So if you've done the race before, you'll know that location well. If you've already picked up your bib, you don't even have to go to the theater. You can go straight to the start line if you like. But we'll be ready for you at 7 a.m. Don't show up any earlier than that, because from 6 to 7, we're getting things set up and getting everything polished for you. So make sure you show up anytime after 7 o'clock. We recommend getting there an hour before your start time. So just hypothetically, if you're racing at 9 a.m., there's no need to be there at 7 a.m. sharp. You can be there at 8 a.m. and that'll give you a full hour to pick up your bib, ask your questions, figure out what layers you're going to wear, drop off your bag, bump into a friend or two, etc., etc. And then you have to walk about 300 meters to the start line. Doesn't sound like very long, but when you're rushed, those 300 meters seem like a mile. So we always say get there a full hour ahead of time. It'll give you plenty of time, maybe even a little too much, but it'll guarantee that you're not too rushed on race day. Other little miscellaneous things, there is parking available on site at the War Museum. Otherwise, it's conveniently located along public transit lines. There's parking in the community nearby, but everyone seems to park at the War Museum by preference. And we will have registration available on site on race day, subject to availability. So keep an eye on our social medias and keep an eye on our newsletter. We'll announce if the race sells out. There's a chance that it might, but your best way to guarantee a spot into the race is to sign up early. Now, so just to orient things a little bit better, here's a map of the area. I'll use my cursor. So when you show up in the morning, here is the War Museum, and the start line is going to be right over here on the Parkway. You'll start here and you'll kind of head westbound. But just to give you guys a couple little tips about getting here, if you're driving and you're coming from the west end, coming from the west and driving towards the east, you can just turn down on Vimy Place here and go to the museum. No problems there. This half of the Parkway will remain open the whole day. We're only stopping traffic going westbound, starting at Vimy Place. If you're coming from over here, you're coming, let's say, from Booth, north or south, or you're coming from the east here, when you show up, this intersection will be full of signs and cones and a police car and whatnot, and we'll have signs everywhere saying local traffic only. That's fine, you are still local traffic, so you can still turn around. The police officer there might stop you and say, where are you going? You say, going to the race. Excellent, come on through. If someone maliciously lies about where they're going and they've somehow got through the local traffic barrier here, we have another set of barriers here that no one can get onto the race course. But it's just a measure to avoid people turning down here, finding out they can't get all the way to where they want to go and they got to do a U-turn. So if you are coming for the race, no problem. You can still turn down and come park at the museum. Easy peasy. So keep that in mind here, that when you are driving through and it says local traffic, that's you, your local traffic. And I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, but while we have the map out, the finish line festivities will be in here. The finish line itself is right where the start line is, but after the race you can come grab some hot chocolate and broth and whatnot. We'll do a little award ceremony inside the museum here, and then we're doing a brunch at Mill Street, which is just outside of the photo right over here. More about that in a few slides, but I thought I'd point it out here just while we have the map handy. Okay, the run itself, everyone's favorite part. So everything starts right over here. I'll use my cursor again at Vimy Place and the Parkway. You'll go up this hill. It's a big hill right here, all at the start, so you're welcome. But the nice thing is that all your laps will stay on top of the hill. So some of you just do one lap. Some of you say, we'll start here, and the kids run, will do a 1K, they go back. If you're doing the 3K, you go all the way here and you turn back. Similarly, if you do the 5K, you turn here and you go back. Now, if you're doing the 10K, follow me here. You come all the way here to where the sign says, athletes turn here 10K. You come back, and there'll be a sign here saying turn here if extra laps. Then you turn back, do a second loop, and then go to the finish line. Same thing for the marathon, half marathon. You come up here, you only do that hill once. And once you're on top of the hill, you'll do the rest of the course. Go all the way to the half marathon, marathon turn point. Come on back and do as many laps as you need to complete your course. You're either doing 1, 2, 4, or 8 loops. But you only come back down to the finish line when you finish your last lap, kind of coming back towards the end of your race. So keep that in mind when you're doing the race. I know a lot of events will have you kind of go from the start line all the way to the end and back as many times as you need to. We made it a little bit more complicated this way, but it saves you a lot of elevation. The course is by no means flat, but it's way flatter with this system, so we hope that you enjoy a little bit of a flatter course. Other miscellaneous reminders: smile for the camera. We'll have some professional photographers on site taking all your photos. If your bib is visible from the outside, that's how we tag everything. So if your bib's on your outer layer and the photographers take a photo of you, it'll automatically get synced with your name and your bib number. So when you finish the race, you can very easily go online and find all your photos with a few clicks. If for some reason your bib number is covered with multiple layers or whatever it may be, you can still upload a photo or a selfie from the race, and it'll use what you're wearing and facial recognition and whatnot to find as many photos of you as it can. Now, every loop will have a water station that you can hit on both ways, out and back. So for every one loop, which is every 5K loop, give or take, you're going to have 2 water stations. The same one on the way out, and you hit it on the way back. We'll have water there, and we'll have F2C, and then for those of you doing the marathon, we'll also have electrolytes. Well, in the F2C, we'll also do usually gels and bars, something like that for you. So I'll have a little more selection for the longer courses in case you need anything, but you're welcome to carry whatever you like. You can even leave things at the water station, so if there's a brand that you particularly love, as you kind of start your first loop and you run, you can drop off a few things that you can then use on every loop if you don't want to carry it yourself. Kind of a unique race in that way, where you can kind of set up a little station for yourself here or anywhere you like. Or if you have anyone on the course spectating, they're welcome to hand things to you. That's not a problem as well. But aside from that, the course there is pretty straightforward. Make sure you do read it carefully and you know how many turns you're doing and where you're turning. That way it avoids as much confusion as you can on race day. All right, now the real fun begins with the post-race. So once you cross the finish line, right there, we're going to have some Libra non-alcoholic beer. We'll have hot chocolate. We'll have lots of snacks for you. You can replenish there right away. And once you're done that, you can make your way back to the museum if you like. Pick up your bag. We're going to have free massages there from Trios College. We'll also do a little bit of an award ceremony for those that want to stick around and do a podium shot. Even if you're not on the podium, you're welcome to come over there, see our podium. We have all kinds of props and whatnot. Get that Instagram photo if you like. And then once you're done that, you're welcome to join all of us at Mill Street Brew Pub. We have more details on the next slide there. And the top 2 questions we always get is, where are the results and where are the photos? So the results are going to be posted at sportsstats.ca. They're usually live within a minute or 2 of you crossing the finish line. So if you want to, you can go online right away and check your official results. If anything seems incorrect or just a little bit off, just send an email to corrections@sportsstats.ca and they'll clean it up. Maybe you're in the wrong age category or just the wrong race or the time doesn't seem quite right. Again, with hundreds and hundreds of runners, it's very easy to have a few people that have the wrong data right off the get-go. Some of the stuff, the data comes in and they kind of cull it and edit it as time goes on. So don't be alarmed if your time seems wrong or something doesn't seem right. They're probably still working on it. And if not, just send them an email and they'll get on it right away. And then for the photos, again, we get thousands of photos. Last year, I think we had 7,000 or 8,000 photos from this race. So it takes us a few days to kind of catalog everything. The photos won't be live for at least a day or two, but keep an eye on our social media accounts and our newsletter, and we'll let you know when everything is live for you to go look at. So for Mill Street, here's a better picture. So the museum is right here. The start-finish line is right over here in the corner. About 650 meters away is Mill Street. Most people last year, they just left their car here if they drove and they just walked over. There is a small amount of parking at Mill Street, but it usually fills up pretty quick, so don't get disappointed and drive all the way there to find out it's full to drive back. If you're able to make the extra little distance after your run, it's a pretty easy walk and on a nice day. If anything, it's probably a good cool down. So we're gonna have the whole second floor reserved for us. If you go there and you show your bib that you did the race, you get 20% off your bill, excluding alcohol, and everyone's welcome. So even if you didn't do the race, you just kind of spectated, or you were there supporting a friend, you were a Sherpa, or you were volunteering at the race, or you're part of our race crew, you're all invited as well. So we hope that we see you there. I know that I'll be there. The core team from Somersault will definitely be there too. So it's a good chance for you to commiserate or co-celebrate with your competitors, chat with our team, be part of the family for the day kind of thing, and celebrate a great day that was. So that's some of the information for the orientation here. If anything wasn't covered, if anything's not clear, send me an email. It's adam@somersault.ca. My inbox is always open. If anything needs to be kind of buttoned up or clarified, I'd be happy to do that before race day. Otherwise, we hope to see you at the start line, or even better, the day before at Sports 4 for your bib pickup. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.